This reminded me of the last water room, but did not have water. Could not electrocute. I've solved the problem of my IRL self zapping everything. It was, in fact, sitting with the coat. Now I've got better heating. Or learned how to work the heating. Party machines. Right, I'm in here. Learned some interesting things about modeling recently. And so the reason that these people don't load in is all of their textures and details are baked in. So they have like a lower poly model for when it's not fully rendered. And then this texture loads on top of it to save gameplay space.
Continuing input of audio data into the Thinker's database. Subject, Pearl Porter.
I want to tell the recorder how we met, Milton.
Okay, sure.
I was working in my family's diner. School was starting for the fall. And one morning, in walks this college boy. Clean cut. First thing I noticed was his eyes. He sat down and ordered bacon, eggs, and coffee. He was shy, but we talked a little off and on. He came in every single morning for breakfast and ordered the same thing. I told my mama, that boy must really love your cooking. She said, he isn't coming in for the food, honey. He's coming in for you. A year later, we were married.
That's cute. Shame it didn't end very well. Alright, you and me, Gloria. Our next stop is where? And for what? There's a way in here somehow. Okay. Kind of check through everything else. Office of Reed Wall. That opens too. So I'm going to check over here first. Data processing. Well, it looks like something bad happened in here. Oh, God. Well, that was an effective jump scare. Getting right back into it. There's a repair for you. That brings to question, though, what were they doing? Like, were they just chilling in there for that whole time? They were like, you know what would be a great prank on the next person to come in here? Ah. There was some point I was trying to make earlier that I rewatched through editing. Oh, it was, could the Thinker control people through use of genetic modification like Adam? Well, this guy is specifically a traitor instead of the general Porter Anger Spitfire.
Some of the boys in the code pit whipped up a real doozy of an entertainment. Monitor screen hooked into a sort of tiny airplane cockpit, yeah? And that's swell, because what shows up on screen is an X, that's you, and a bunch of O's, like a Spitfire surrounded by a squadron of zeros? You fly your little X around and shoot them down one after another. The wall caught us at it one night, called it a waste of time. I don't know. On balance, ain't it better to change what's on the screen than just stare at it?
So this is the game. Oh, this is what the comment said. Yes, of course. Oh dear. Start and fire is just click. Oh. I can't figure out how to play this game just yet. Ooh, that one was close. Ah! I have a really hard time as a person focusing on a lot of little details. I think I could play this better. But like lots of little micro details on the screen really start to lose me. That's also why I often play older games. Because the more... that was a dumb death. The more graphically intense ones kind of strobe out my eyes. Does anyone else ever get that? What is that a sign of? Like sometimes, like my eyes will flash. Just very briefly, in black and white. Not like my vision changes to black and white, but it's like a solid color. I could also, as a kid, and sometimes still when I'm stressed and such, get, can hear my own eyes clicking when I blink. God, I'm terrible at this. The mouse drifting is just so, Okay, I have to beat my previous score. Cut out a few attempts just because I'm focusing and silent and bad at it. So the goal should just be to stay alive, I think. Which I failed instantly. So like just avoid the pellets and shoot randomly, I think is going to be my strategy. Oof. Ah. You know what's weird is I'm better at flying a plane in real life than I am in this game. Not at shooting enemy targets, thankfully, but... Or at least I've never had to test out shooting enemy targets. Ooh, that was close. Riveting gameplay. Ah! I did beat my old high score. And I'm gonna do it again. I find this little beeping sound kind of soothing. The little ba-ba-ba-ba of it all. Well, that one was just because my hands are covered in lotion. Colorado weather is dry and frustrating. Accidentally won a bunch of points from just firing Okay, the avoid strategy seems to be working. I say as I die. My new strategy is to just fly around wildly, never look at what I'm aiming at, and just go. People would have gone nuts for this at the arcade, though, back in the ye olden days. The 80s. It's weird how much people will consider ancient history. Ah. Because I see people mourning the loss of 2014 ages and ages ago in the dark times. I'm like, what on earth are you talking about? It's also just my very strange perception of time. Ah. 4250. My strange perception of time, but I feel like, well, that was just a waste. I feel like 2004 and 2008 were like light years away from each other. But that may also be like my perception of maturing as a person and actually growing up. I mean, I'm not sure how much I'm perceiving. I just noted you can see Delta's shadow in there. Or, Sigma this time. So it was actually going from, like, very remarkable stages. Because, like, being a, the difference between being, you know, 12 and 14 seemed like everything. And then, like, the difference between being 20 and 25 is very little. So that could also skew my perception of it quite a bit. So the double tap strategy seems to be working for me. Lost myself. I just ran right into that. I am improving, though. This is gonna be this whole episode. Place in my last game. Future editing me. And pretend like I left this on a high note where I won. Nope. Well. How did you get damaged?
Hey, Felix. I hear Porter is really happy about the new trajectory calculation routine. You know, the one that we worked on for 6 months? The one you took all the credit for? Oh, that reminds me. If you're looking for the key to your brand new office, you might want to check in the Circus of Values down the hall. Hope you brought your milk money, asshole.
Huh. Oh. Goodbye. I'm sorry. We just lit him up, Gloria. I'm sorry. I know you were gonna try and kill me, but like, wow. This must be... Is there some way to get down from here safely? Because I feel like it's not intending me to go... Oh, I see. This is the catwalk above.
Resign.
Can I get through here? This also says traitor. So that if I ever want to get back into that game, I can win. Someday, somehow. How do I get that lock off? Is it as simple as a gravity well? No. Or do I have to pull the power from somewhere else? And that feels like it would make more sense. Oh, I can just throw it up and over. Same as always. Well, that didn't work as intended. That did, though. These look like drones. Spiraling equation. Can buy whatever I'd like from up top, which I will. Keep forgetting. Oh, of course. Duh. And yet I just didn't think of it. Okay. Still following? Good. Office key is up there, though. Because I'm a fool. That's where it applies. Heard him say it and everything. And this just decides to open. Okay then. It's cool looking. Actually. Sorry, man. Rough way to go. Okay. Ashtray? That's not what that is. You there on the floor, what are you? There you go.
We make it all run. The brains in those bots and cameras, that's us. Automatic bathysphere navigation, calculating genetic probabilities for new plasmids, hell, regulating water pressure so this place ain't a fish tank. It's all Rapture central computing. Not that we get the recognition. Funny thing about living in the city tomorrow, everybody takes it for granted.
You know, come to think of it, this is like, Bioshock is like the really dark future of what would have happened at Epcot had Disney not died. Wanted all the best technology in the future. Hello, Lovelace. Oof. I like that all these cats are named after computer programmers. I do not like, however, that they are dead cats, unfortunately. But Disney would have made an exclusive city of Imagineers and Dreamers, and families that would have been updated with all of the newest tech. but he died before he could make it a reality. And people were not a fan of his work. Or the people around him were not, so. If I... What? God, this is terrible. All of my bots are gonna be blown up by the time I get back. It's take forever to reload.
The technology of Minerva's den keeps Rapture running smoothly. Unauthorized tampering with
Going all right?
computer equipment is a punishable offense.
That one's just broken, I guess. This cola is not doing anything for me. Much like real life. Gloria and Scotty. More of the equation written in blood, factoring in all the people from Rapture. Another mini turret, always helpful. Starting to think that this guy may have been a cola addict. And this is back when it would have had real cocaine, so that is, highly likely. I say as I start chugging it. Interesting. How do I open this? A whale! And... whatever that is. Huh. Must be something around here. Sort of pullable lever? Gravity well? Because blood very clearly disappears. I have an ammonite, much smaller than this. And they just sold it for and they just sold it to me for like $5, which is like, this is a millions-year-old fossil, but because there were so many of them, they're worthless. To whoever's selling them, they're priceless to me. Love those little ammonites. Especially the ones with the funky shells. It's a really interesting adaptation, and I want to know what those are for. I don't need a hint I'm not stuck. Oh.
Adam makes it hard to sleep, forgetting things lately. So this is an emergency reminder for the code to my private storage area. I won't record the number, but remember, just look at the 4 groups of books on the shelf. And the sequence is obvious.
Alright. 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh. Well, it just didn't wait for me to figure that out. Wasn't listening to me say it out loud. Okay then. Much more happening here. Tannenbaum, Adam equals what? Interesting. Very interesting. Keep getting just like a streak of those really good really good hacking. I am going to place down a turret to watch me as I pull this conspicuous lever.
Good. It's all hooked up. I can run the hack sequence from here. Just 1 minute.
Yoink.
That should do it. I hope. If the hack turned out right, you are now the proud owner of one homemade signal jammer.